Hello, this is Chase Morrison with Profitwyse here with our first edition of Advanced Excel and Access Tips. Just going to go through here and show you how to use some conditional formatting on your subtotal reports that might make them more legible, as well as how you add some filtering that makes them more functional. Okay, so here's our data set, and I took this data directly from a Access database, the Northwind example file that Access provides. And I've already sorted it by customer, and what I'd like to do is add a couple columns here. So one of the things that I would like to know is what is the average sales price? I'm going to call it ASP for average sales price. So that is going to just be sales divided by units shipped. And then I would like to know what the unit cost is. Then I want to know what the gross profit is. And then I want to know what the margin is. So unit cost is just going to be cost. This is the total cost divided by the unit shipped again. Gross profit is just going to be sales minus cost. So margin is just gross profit divided by sales. We're going to make that a percent quickly. Okay, we're going to take and we're going to drag this all the way down. You do normally need to worry when you're computing margins. Frequently, clients will have shipments to their sales force that have a sales of 0, so you'd have to watch out for when sales equal 0, but that's not an issue with this file. So now that we've added in all the calculations or metrics here, now we can go ahead and do the subtotaling. So that's going to be under Data, Subtotal, and we want to subtotal on customers. We want to have it subtotal the quantity. We want it to subtotal the sales dollars, the costs. We do not want to subtotal average sales prices, unit cost, because that would not make sense. And we want it to subtotal gross profit. So when I go ahead and click OK, I should get all my subtotals. So now you can see that I have all my subtotals by customer, which is what I was hoping for. Now, the one thing that this conditional formatting helps improve is that when you go scrolling down this report quickly, it's difficult to see where these subtotal breaks are at. The company total is bolded, but the totals over here are not bolded. So by applying a conditional format on this whole area will make this report a bit easier to understand. So we go back to home, click on conditional format, new rule. This is going to be a formula. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put in a formula that's going to look down column B, and it's going to look at each one of these little customer names and character strings, and whenever it finds a customer where the last 5 characters are the word total, it's going to apply a custom format. So the way you do that is I'm going to put an equal sign, and I'm going to use the right function, and I put in $sign because I only want this to look down column B, and I want it to start in row 1 because that's the area that that's the row that my area is starting at. I want it to look at the last or the rightmost 5 characters, and when those 5 characters equal total, then I want it to apply this format. So the format is going to have a bold font. I'm going to put a border on the top, and the fill is going to be this yellowish color. So it shows you here what it's going to appear as. So when I hit OK, it should highlight all my borders, which is exactly what it did. So now, as you can see, as you scroll down, it's much easier to see where all the breaks are, where all your total customers are. So now the next thing I want to do is I kind of want to expand these metrics for average sales prices, and all I have to do is just drag this formula all the way down to the bottom, and that Excel dutifully copies that all the way down. And then I want to do the same thing for unit cost. Just take this formula all the way down to the bottom, and then I want to do the same for margin. So that was pretty easy. So now I have all my metrics, average sales price, unit costs, and margin, and they're all correct, and they're all formatted the same way. So here's one little trick here that makes this a little bit more valuable, is by putting filtering on the subtotal reports. Here's what you can do. I'm going to go ahead and put a filter on it. So now you can start to ask some interesting questions. For example, you could look at how you're doing on clam chowder. So let's just say we want to look at this clam chowder across all of our customers. So I just select clam chowder. I got to go down and find it here. So here's clam chowder. So I'm just going to look at clam chowder. And now you can see all of clam chowder, and it's just showing you exactly what the total is just for that one product. This model has all the same ASPs and costs, so it's a bit artificial, but if you had an actual file, it would show you the differences. Now if you want to get rid of that, you can go ahead and hit clear. Now the other thing that you might want to look at that is helpful and sometimes a little bit tricky is to get the customer subtotals on, say, a product. So sometimes you have more than one and you would want to use this blank. Now if we look at, say, beer, now by doing that, now we kind of can see what each company is doing. So hopefully that makes sense. But if you had multiple of these and you only wanted to look at, say, well, maybe you want to look at just a couple different products. Let's say this product. You want to see what companies were buying it and kind of what their margins were. Then you do that. So now you have a report that is giving you the company subtotals, as well as just limiting the number of products to this small amount. But you do it by selecting this blank down here, and then by including the blank, then you get the subtotal lines included in your report. Because if I take that blank out, then all I'm going to have is just a long list with no subtotals. Okay? We use that quite a bit. We hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe and comment down below to help us improve our content. Feel free to visit our website to learn more about our services at profitwyse.com, and have a great day.